Hi, this is Frid from the Joy of Syntax and English in Color. And today I want to present my grammar book to you, just a little bit of it. Here it is, The Joy of Syntax and the Zen of Grammar Practice. I had a lot of fun writing the book and I think it is really useful. It's been 10 years in the making and it grew out of English classes that I taught at RWTH Aachen University. The special thing about this book, well, there are several things that are innovative and special about it. It consists of various parts. In the first part, I present all of English syntax in color. I designed a color system, a parsing system, and help and use that to explain grammar to my students and to make that really fun. You know, different grammar books have different terminologies, and often people get confused by different terminologies, but the terminologies are not as important. Of course, they reflect a philosophy of thought and a way of tackling issues, but still, there are certain things that are universal, regardless of viewpoint, and I'm trying to get at the basics. So if you, when you see, maybe you can see that a little bit, I have all of these color parsed sentences in there and these overviews. So in the first part, I make grammar fun, and it's a systematic presentation of all the structures that are important in English. In the second part, I apply this to style. I show that style is basically words and syntax in love. Words on their own do not have meaning. They only have meaning potential. And they need syntax and context to create a relationship matrix for them so that then they can mean something inside of that matrix. And style is word choice and grammar choice. And the color system, the color parsing system, makes that really accessible. In the third part of the book, I show syntax in action. I show you how these structures that we've made friends with in parts 1 and 2 are used by great writers and poets to weave their wonderful art. And in the way I present all of this stuff in these 3 parts, you can see that grammar is really part of life, and that it's part of the essence of our perception of the world. And it's important to study it. Either language has a hold on us, or we learn to see what it does for us, or with us, or even to us by studying grammar and studying words in relationship. And then we can have a measure of control over what happens to our perception of reality and our relationships with other people, because they are formed by the language we use and the grammar structures we use. So I find that terribly exciting. In part 4, I present all the grammar structures in overviews again, or well, the most important grammar structures. And the overview part only makes sense really when you have studied part 1. And in the appendix, I talk about things like tenses and parts of speech and a few other concepts that are very important but are not part of the grand scheme of the book. The colors that I chose for the color system are those that you find in the average office supply store, and I took those on purpose because I want people to apply grammar and their new understanding of grammar to the writing they themselves do. One little thing, you know, every complete clause has a subject and a verb. Often there are more parts or elements to that, but those are the basic structures that you need for a finite clause. And so when you write and, you know, subjects are pink and verbs are blue, finite verbs are blue. And when you write and you color parse your writing and you find that you don't have a blue bit in your sentence, well, then you have a fragment on your hands, and then you have to think about, do I want to use a fragment here or not? And when you're writing normal expository prose or a paper for your college professor, then you probably don't want fragments. Anyway, I had a lot of fun writing this book, and I'm going to have a lot of fun teaching with it. So stay tuned for free grammar classes that I give via YouTube, and for online classes that I'm going to offer shortly. And book me for a one-on-one. And above all, buy the book. I think you'll enjoy it. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in class maybe.